Welcome back to Wait, What Do You Do Again? I'm your host, Megan DeFord, and today I'm joined by my brother from another mother, Matt Jones, and returning guest, Nick the Wine Guy Elliot. He's a certified sommelier, chef, and probably the most approachable wine expert you'll ever meet. Today we're talking about how to choose the right wine without getting overwhelmed, what's trending right now, some fun non-alcoholic options that still feel festive, and some wine etiquette. Pour yourself something you like, share, review, and subscribe, and let's go. Nick, thank you so much for joining us today. For anyone who hasn't had the pleasure of sharing a glass of wine with you, can you tell our listeners who you are, what you do, and we'll go from there.
Sure, absolutely. I appreciate the invitation to come back, Megan. My name is Nick Elliot. You can call me Nick, or the Wine Guy is my moniker. And I have been in the wine and hospitality and food business for a million years. I am a classically trained chef as well as a certified sommelier. And what I do for a living is I teach people about wine, and whether that's over the internet like this, or one-on-one classes, or one-to-many classes. But I also do trips all around the world and take folks with me and visit vineyards in Germany and Australia and Croatia and Argentina and teach you about wine from the ground up. And that's what I do.
Awesome. Amazing. Well, so I am so appreciative that you're here. Matt and I are doing this holiday hosting podcast. We love to host, and we were thinking, like, what are the different elements of hosting? And wine is always one of them for the holidays. So thank you for helping us out. And I'm
Yes.
going to start with I almost put this in my email when I reached out to you, but I wanted to save it as a little treat. So for listeners, I bought this wine from Costco based on the jug. Is that a good way to buy wine for the holidays, Nick?
Jug of wine.
It's a Georgian wine, and I saved it for today. But it's a beautiful container. But what's the right way that you should
It's a gorgeous
think
wine.
about wine and selection?
Yes, honestly, buying based on what's on the label or the shape of the bottle is probably the last thing that I do
Okay.
when it comes to buying. And wine labeling, just like every other type of branding, it's to catch your eye.
Yes.
And I would say overall, now I'm generalizing, of course, there are many, many beautiful bottles of wine that also have beautiful labels and are branded well and things like that. But I've always found the best wines have the simplest labels. So, in my experience, fancy bottles with pictures of celebrities or fancy illustrations,
Sure.
things like that on the label are not going to be the best wines. And again, this is very, very generally speaking. They're advertising gimmicks as you're walking. And by the way, I will say that I do not recommend buying wine at a grocery store. Costco's kind of okay, but
Three
not at
buck
a
chuck is
grocery store.
no approval, no $3 chuck.
Well,
I
Yeah,
get
$3 chuck is good for what it's good for.
yeah, Matt was like,
But
"Should we talk about boxed wine?" And I was like, "I mean, we can, but."
well, I'll tell you what, there are some really good boxed wines on the market nowadays,
interesting.
and it really has everything to do with the closure or the container of the wine. And I know we're skipping around topics here a little bit, but the closure or the container of the wine is really what keeps its longevity.
Okay.
So if you think about it this way, you've got bottles of wine with a screw top.
Right. Right. More
Screw
popular
top is,
lately. Yeah.
yes, absolutely. Screw top is looked at as a lesser wine, but I can tell you from an expert, it's not always.
Okay.
The only thing that a screw top does that a cork does not, a natural cork, by the way, is not allow that wine to breathe in the bottle. So there's nothing going into the bottle and there's nothing coming out of the bottle. Boxed wine has a very similar concept because the closure is so tight. There's nothing going in and there's nothing going out. Now, to put it in perspective, or to make a comparison or contrast, is with a natural cork in a bottle, what's happening is it's allowing minute amounts of oxygen into the bottle.
Okay.
And then it's also releasing gases and other things out of the bottle over a certain amount of time. So
Wondered about that.
yeah, wines that you're going to keep for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you want to make sure that there's a natural cork
Natural
in that
cork.
bottle. As a matter of fact, it hasn't aired yet. I'm not sure when this is airing, but oh no, it actually has aired. I just did a whole episode of my podcast, Pour and Explore, on the aging of wine or the ageability of wine and how to best do that. So if you want more information about that, go check out that episode.
So actually, that's a great segue into host gifts. So like if
Mhm.
you want to do a bottle of wine as a host gift, what sort of, I guess, price point isn't a great place to start. I mean, people sort of have that in their head, but
Yeah.
let's say you're getting a wine that you are hoping to give that they're going to age and they send Pour and Explore that episode along with it.
Mhm.
Like what should when you go to the wine store, what should you be asking for? What should you be talking about? You may not necessarily know what the host likes, but like,
Yeah.
how do you determine that for that host or hostess gift?
Sure. I'm going to start this out by saying that price point on wine does not necessarily dictate quality. So
Mhm.
I think that's an important thing to say, and I'll say it again. Price point on wine does not dictate the quality of what's
Mhm.
in the bottle. I've had $10 bottles of wine that were comparable to $300 bottles of wine,
Oh wow.
and
A lot.
vice versa. So pricing of wine has everything to do with supply and demand, availability, how much of that wine was produced in a particular year. Of course, the prestige of where the wine was made. Is
Mhm.
it made in Lodi, California, or is it made in Burgundy, France?
Mm.
Which one are you going to pay more for? And that is no knock on Lodi, California wines, because wines coming out of Lodi are amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Burgundy, France has a lot more prestige around it
Sure.
than Lodi does. So using that as an example. So don't always go on price point, because that's not going to be a great indicator of quality. Now, going into a party or an event or a gathering over the holidays and bringing a bottle of wine along with you, here are some tips for that. If you know the host well enough, then you can easily ask them, "Hey, Sally, what's your favorite wine? Wine varietal or region?" That is a good way to go. However, if you're going into a situation blind, here are some of my favorite things to do.
Okay.
For casual events, if you're talking about Friendsgivings or potluck
Mhm.
kind of
Yeah.
things, casual gatherings, sticking with food friendly, easy drinking wines, things like Riesling, Barino, Pinot Noir, California Pinot Noir, Gamay, or Beaujolais from France. Those are really easy, simple price points for the most part. These are going to be $15 to $30 bottles of wine, something along those lines. And that was 2 whites and 2 reds that I just gave you, by the by.
Sure.
For more sit down formal dinners and things like that, and as a chef, I always talk about food pairings in my wine discussions. So you want to match the food
Yeah.
that is going to be served. So you'll want to know that ahead of time. Hey, what is the host serving? All right, they're serving roast beef and potatoes and winter vegetables and things like that. Go for a bigger red wine, like a
Yeah. We
Cabernet
were talking about that
Sauvignon,
earlier. Yeah.
Syrah, Malbec, Merlot. Those are really, really good ones. Again, regionality doesn't necessarily matter unless your
Sure.
host has a favorite place
Mhm.
that they like their wine from. Lighter dishes, French Pinot Noir is great. Chardonnay is another, that's a white wine that pairs really, really well with most meals,
Okay.
because it's a chunkier, heartier wine for a white, as opposed to a Sauvignon Blanc, which is lighter, more delicate, and
Yeah.
so on. Chardonnay tends to have a bigger backbone. And then if you're doing more of a brunch or a daytime celebration, it's all about sparkly wine.
Okay.
At
Yeah.
that point, you're not going to go wrong bringing a sparkling wine, whether that is a California sparkling wine or cava from Spain or Cremant or champagne from France. You're not going to go wrong. Rosé sparkling is hugely
Yes.
popular
Very
right now.
trendy. That was my next question.
Very, very trendy. So if you're going to choose anything, choose a pink sparkling wine over everything else. It'll be the hit of the party.
Yeah. So my thing was about the trends. Every industry has its own set of trends and food trends, like Brussels sprouts on every menu nowadays, right? And I'm for wines, particularly as we head into get deeper into winter. What are some of these trendy wines in this season? You mentioned a little bit with heavier foods, where you talked about,
Hmm.
we're eating hearty now. But I'm curious, is there trendy wines that people are like they're really into at this moment?
As far as reds go, there tends to be an ebb and flow
Okay.
quite a bit on red wines. Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon is always a huge hit for more sit down formal dinners.
Okay.
If you have a couple extra bucks to spend on a bottle of wine, get a Cabernet Sauvignon from France, which would be referred to as a Bordeaux wine, which is always going to cost you a little bit more money, but the quality is also going to be a little bit better as well. Or stylistically, in my opinion, I shouldn't say the quality is going to be better. Stylistically, that is more my jam than the California side. But again, delicious, amazing wines. They're on the map for a reason. It's really the white wines that tend to be more trendy. So Sauvignon Blanc was the white wine for many years. Then that went over to more obscure white wines like Albarino and Chenin Blanc from France,
Mhm.
or they really grow Chenin Blanc anywhere. Those were very trendy for a while. Orange wine has been very trendy for quite a
Oh,
bit,
okay.
and
Made from
orange wine.
oranges?
It is not made from oranges.
Okay, what?
Orange wine.
I was
So
like, what?
I'll give you a really quick nerd out
Okay.
on orange wine. So white wine, when the grapes are brought into the winery, they are pressed immediately and the juice is squeezed out of the
Sure.
berry and the juice goes into a vessel and it's fermented and there's no color in the wine typically except for maybe like a light yellow or a straw color or whatever.
Okay.
What orange wine is, they're actually fermenting the juice of the berry along with the skin like they do with
Oh,
red wine.
interesting.
So if you think about the skin, the outside of a white grape, they tend to be very light pink or
Yeah.
yellow or golden color, that kind of
Oh
thing.
my God, I
So
had
when
this
you
wine. I
did
had
you have it?
this
Yeah.
wine.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Nick,
I
we're
like orange
laughing.
wine.
We're laughing because Matt had this wine on like maybe the worst first date ever. And he was like,
Oh
why
yeah.
is this date
It was
happening?
a
Why is
deep
my
gold. I
wine
was like,
deep
this is a
gold?
color. I'm not used to this color. It was
Yeah, yeah.
big.
So that was orange wine.
That's so
Um,
interesting. That's I see. So it's funny. Every single one you just talked to, and I'm in South Florida, the Albarino, the Chenin Blanc, and the orange wine is everywhere. It's on
yep,
every
yep.
menu. It's like the
Every menu.
featured wine, and people are still downing their King Crawford, but like there, you definitely are like seeing that all over the place.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's really interesting. What are your go-tos for holiday celebrating?
Yeah.
Much like I talked about, I tend to bring wine that is going to complement the meal.
The meal.
Now, a lot of times I'm preparing the meal, depending. Like tonight, I'm going to be cooking a big Italian dinner for my mother,
Oh,
We're
and
coming
I'm going to
over.
pull out some, yeah, and I'm pulling out some Italian reds, some Chianti, some Barolo, things like that
okay.
for the dinner tonight. So I'm always going to choose the wine based on the food. So I don't have a strict answer, but if I'm going to go overall, food pairing wine, Cab, Pinot for reds, Chardonnay, and let's see, Chardonnay and Riesling for
Yeah.
white wines
Yeah.
are my food wines, if you
Yeah.
will, very generally speaking.
So that leads me to another question, Megan, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
One of the things I was thinking about is like when you're hosting, like I'm looking to do a Friendsgiving later in November, and I'm
Mhm.
thinking about like 20 people, and you just rattled off a variety of different wines that you're going to bring out tonight for
Mhm.
dinner. So if I'm hosting, like, should I just stick to one type or bring out a crate and I have 20 bottles of whatever, or is it like mix and match, have a variety there for people, or does it not matter? Yeah.
Are
Please.
you doing like a sit down dinner? Are you doing like standing stations moving
Standing
around?
heavy hors d'oeuvres.
Okay.
Mhm.
As that's the idea of it. I feel like every party I've gone to, everyone's bringing a bottle or something as a gift. So you already have a mismatch of wine already. But
Yeah.
if you're hosting, like what's the best approach here to be the best host?
Yeah, and I was going to ask the same question that Megan just asked, because what you're serving is going to matter. So with standing hors d'oeuvres, obviously you're going to have a bunch of different
Yeah.
flavors and textures and things like that. So having that bar of wine up there with 10 different options is not going to be a problem,
Okay.
because people are going to drink whatever whenever they get to it. Let me have a little splash of this, so then I'll have a little splash of this. Maybe they want to try all of it.
Yeah.
And call an Uber at the end of the night.
Like my
Yeah.
own
Um,
blend in my wine
yeah,
glass.
there you go. Definitely make yourself a rosé when you're trying.
I'm 43 years old and I still don't know the right etiquette because I've seen it all different ways. Like sometimes I usually bring a bottle of wine for the host, and sometimes they're like, oh, put it on that table, like for people to drink immediately. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. Sometimes if I think that's going to happen, I'll do one for like sharing and then one for them
This is for
later.
you.
Then
Yeah.
some people are like, I brought wine, not as a gift, but like I brought wine. What what is the like what is the if there is a proper etiquette when you're bringing wine? Are you opening it? Are you not? Do you ask if like do you ask the person who's bringing the wine? What's the deal with that? I have no clue and I fake it every time.
Right.
Yeah, it's a question that comes up a lot. I think it depends on the familiarity you have with the host. If you guys are close, I think it's very, very easy just to ask or tell them. If you're the host and you're familiar with the guest that's coming in with the bottle of wine, do you intend me to open this tonight, or would you like me to hold on to it? I think on a more familiar relationship. For a not so familiar relationship, they might be a little more hesitant to open the wine, just depending. So if it's clearly a gift, say to the host, this is for you. Thank you so much for having me tonight.
Mhm.
And then they can choose to do with it as they please,
Yeah.
because you're giving it to them. If they choose to open it, fantastic. If you want it opened, you can say graciously to your host, I thought this might go great with dinner tonight.
Okay. I like that.
And then again, it'll be their choice to open it or not. If you say that, they will likely open it at that
Yeah.
point. If you're the host of the party, gauge the vibe. Sharing it right away could be perfect hospitality, especially if the wine that you bring is complementary to everything else that's going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
That's my recommendation.
I've had people that are like super excited and are like, "Oh, should we open this?" And I'm like, "Sure." Like you're clearly like you want to open it. It's just so funny because if I brought like a sweater, I wouldn't be like, "Put it on."
Open it now.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. All right, so it's all about the vibe. I like the language you gave because it gives the host
Yeah.
space,
Yes.
right? Like, and
Yeah.
I've definitely done the thing where I bring two and I'm like, save this for later. This is for you to enjoy
I
later.
love
Like,
that plan. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and it's $2 chuck. No, I'm just kidding. Matt, have you been in that situation?
See, I'm not a big drinker, so I like
Yeah,
put it out right away.
yeah,
Looking at my little wine pedestal I have over here now, been counting what? 4 bottles of wine, mostly red, all red right now. Yeah. So yeah, I just put it out.
yeah.
But one of the things I was thinking about, I was listening to you, Nick, talking about flavors. And we all know the holiday flavors, they don't, I mean, in America, they don't really differ. It's going to be some game, right? It's going to be heavy. It's going to be mashed potatoes and, at least in my household, like green, it's very
Yam.
heavy, yam, sweet, rich, fatty
Yeah.
food, right? So I think, so from what I'm hearing, if I had to like take the pop quiz, I'm serving, this is my meal I'm serving. So I'm going to go probably veer to the maybe a lighter white, maybe to break up that, or lean heavier. Let's get one of those thicker, like you said, the Chardonnay, much more a bigger, more of a backbone to hold up to
Sure.
the strong flavor.
So one of the main tenets of food and wine pairing, is having the correct amount of acid in the
Oh,
wine to
okay.
do exactly what you're talking about. Is a wine that you're able to enjoy with a piece of chicken with the skin
Gravy, all
still
that
on
stuff.
it,
Yeah.
or a steak, a piece of beef with some fat on it, things like that. A baked potato with butter and sour cream on top and things like that. These are all things that are going to coat your mouth, and they're going to stick there
Yeah.
unless you clean them out.
Mhm.
So I make the reference all the time between, and as a matter of fact, when I go to Europe next month, I'm doing an entire lecture on old world wines versus new world wines.
Mm.
And old world wines tend to be, and old world wine means European wine.
Okay.
New world wine means everything else.
In the Americas.
All of the Americas, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa,
Yeah.
etc.
Okay.
Old world wines are meant to be paired with food. They tend to be higher in acidity, lower in alcohol, and just a different flavor profile. So higher acidity wines are going to be better for food pairing. I don't necessarily recommend a ton of California wine, for example, as a food pairing wine. You can do it. It's totally acceptable to do it. But if I had my choice between Cabernet Sauvignon that was made in California and one that was made in France, I'm going to choose the French one every time
Got it.
in the food pairing model.
World, yeah.
Yeah,
And so,
and the same for the white. So a high acidity Chardonnay is going to be better than a big flabby, big buttery California Chardonnay for food pairing.
yeah.
Interesting. What makes the difference between the two? Obviously, I can assume, but for the listener, like obviously
Mhm.
the soil, what makes the earth, and what how it's grown. This is my assumption, but I was just curious. What's the difference?
Sure. The way that I explain it is, and I'm talking about America specifically. I'll leave the
Sure.
other parts of the New World out of it because they don't necessarily hit that. America specifically, we have exactly what you were talking about a moment ago, Matt, is we like big, heavy, fatty, greasy. We have what I refer to as the cheeseburger palate
Yes.
in the States. All right. We want something that's dripping down our arm when we're eating it and so on. And that's also the way we like our wine. We
Mm,
like it big and bulky
Robust.
and
Okay.
robust and heavy and so on. And so California particularly has morphed the American palate to enjoy that bigger, more round wine, as opposed to the leaner, cleaner,
Okay.
more acidic wines that come from our neighbors in Europe.
So it's
hmm.
not the grapes, it's just how it's processed. And
It's
yeah,
the wine
it's the pro.
making
Yeah.
and the tradition of the winemaking as well.
Yeah. So one thing that I have started incorporating in hosting in general is having non-alcoholic options, like non-alcoholic beer, non-alcoholic
Mhm.
wine, non-alcoholic liquor, which is like very
Yes.
new to me. And it's been very
Hmm.
popular among my friends, like friends that are sober, friends that are not.
Yep.
Can you talk? And I
Yep.
never know what I'm buying. Like the non-alcoholic beer, I know a little bit more from running and sponsorships. Like, so I've like tried some of them and they're pretty good. The non-alcoholic wine, I'm just doing my best. Like, and I
Um,
think I've had is it Fit wine? Like when I'm going to purchase, usually I'm talking to someone like, what should I be asking the purveyor at the wine shop about non-alcoholic wine? And do you have any thoughts around it? Maybe alternatives, like whatever. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, absolutely. Non-alcoholic wine is definitely going to be hit or miss, or low alcohol wine is
Mhm.
also going to be hit or miss. That tends to be pretty popular lately as wines that are much like beer, between 5 and 8%
Okay.
alcohol. You're going to find some white wines from Europe that fall into that 9 to 11% category. So definitely on the low side for in the wine spectrum. And those are low alcohol options. Non-alcohol options in wine, I can't really speak to too
Mhm.
much because I'm not an expert on
Sure.
those. I haven't had many of those, so I can't speak to the quality. The few that I have had have been okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it's just kind of a chill vibe and everyone's enjoying themselves, I don't necessarily know that it matters
Yeah.
how it tastes.
I think it's such a nice alternative for folks to have a wine glass with wine in it
Yeah.
and they can participate in a way that isn't water, it's not soda or some sort of sparkling drink. It's not like,
Mm,
and
Some saccharin-induced mocktail is
yeah,
also an
yeah,
yes.
alternative.
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. But it is really interesting. Like, I have just started incorporating this into my parties that I've hosted. I am shocked at how popular it's been. And
Yeah.
I don't, maybe that says more about me than anything else, but like, it just was nothing that I grew up with. And so
Right.
I feel like maybe with people being more healthy and thinking about this, it is kind of like a nice alternative to have there for folks.
Yeah, 100%. And the other two things that I was going to mention, sparkling teas are wonderful. Yeah, low in sugar or no sugar a lot of times, sometimes sweetened with like monk fruit, et cetera, et cetera. There's also another fun thing that I came across recently. It's certainly not a new thing, but it's new to me and maybe new to your listeners, called verjuice. And verjuice
Verjuice
is
and verjuice.
it's a non-alcoholic beverage that is made from grape juice.
Okay.
So it's somewhere between grape juice and vinegar.
Hmm.
So think about a grape-based kombucha, if you will.
Yeah.
So it's
Um,
brewed like kombucha,
it
would you
is.
say?
Well,
Okay.
it's fermented,
Fermented, definitely, yeah.
but the alcohol is removed, much like wine, but then, or much like a non-alcoholic wine, but then it goes through the a bit of that vinegaration process,
Sure.
that secondary fermentation
Uh,
process that gives it that bite. So
yeah.
think like apple cider vinegar, but
That's what I was
less
thinking. Yeah.
potent. And people are doing that. They're adding that to like sparkling water
Yeah.
or to club soda
Okay.
or to tonic water, things
Sure.
like that. So it's a little splash of flavor. It's a little splash of tartness. That's been a fun one that I've noticed out there. That's becoming very popular.
Nice.
Yeah.
With the holidays, speaking of this, I was thinking about all the other novelties around the holidays. So one of the things
Mhm.
that I think about, my dad's a big person, like the mulled wine. Like Megan and I were talking about how it's so aromatic, right?
Yes.
And my dad, he's a chef, so he would always make it. But I know
Yep.
that's a big. I've seen it on shelves already, pre-mold. I also think about like hot toddy, some of these
Hmm.
warmer alcoholic beverages that are not always wine, but maybe have a wine component to them.
Yeah.
Like any thoughts on these or
So I'm so glad you brought up mulled wine, man, because that is my absolute favorite holiday drink.
it's your jam.
One hundred
Okay.
percent, yes. And mulled wine is so easy to make. You can do it in 10 minutes at your house with ingredients that you probably have laying around already. So go get yourself an inexpensive bottle of wine, maybe like $2 Chuck. Get yourself
There it
some
comes. That's where
Charles
you that's
Shaw.
where you go.
Yeah, Cabernet Sauvignon, for example. And what you do is basically just toss that bottle of wine in a pot, bring it up to a simmer just to warm it. You don't want to boil it by
Okay.
any means. And then throw into that a cinnamon stick, a couple of cloves, the rind of an orange, the rind of a lime, and the rind of a
So
lemon,
good.
and you're done. You can even throw maybe a little splash of brandy in there if you want sweetened up a little bit more, or throw a couple of sugar cubes in it to sweeten it up a little bit more.
Okay.
But I like mine non-sweet.
Yeah.
But you can make it however you'd like. Squeeze some liquid stevia in there. Perfect.
Yeah. I've seen chocolate wine around the holidays too. Have you seen this, Megan?
Chocolate
Or
wine?
Nick? Yeah.
No.
I don't know. Maybe
Mhm.
I don't know. I did.
I've
I
seen
just
like a
walked. I
chocolate
walked.
stout.
Oh yeah, I've seen those too.
Mhm.
I've seen
Yeah.
them, but I just walked past it in the grocery store. I'm like, what is this? I don't
Yeah.
know. Wow.
Yeah, I don't
Sounds
know
like
chocolate wine.
it sounds
So, okay.
crazy.
So, say I'm at Matt's Friendsgiving and he pours me a glass of, or offers a glass of chocolate wine. And I'm like, ugh, what is the polite way to say to your host, like, thank you? Like, Matt's like, Megan, this chocolate wine, you gotta try it. It goes great with the yams. Like,
Again, I think that depends on your familiarity with. I keep screwing up that word.
oh, we got it. We know it.
You know how close you are to the host. Yeah, I'm sure you could say to Matt, "No, I don't want that."
Like, what is wrong with you?
What is
No, I'm
this
just kidding.
crap?
And he'll be okay with it. I would say, as a host, you can certainly ask. That would be a great way to start. Or what I will do sometimes as a host, if I'm busy and I'm crazy, I'll pour someone just a little splash of something and say, "Here, try this." And go check back in with them 10 minutes later and see if they enjoyed it before you pour them an entire glass of something. So that's a good rule of thumb.
I feel like I've been to a lot of awkward moment parties because
Apparently, Megan, you're
I
like ready
know,
for
I'm
all
like, why are all these
situations.
wine? I'm like, blah.
What if they do this? Can I just walk out and leave? But I will, since we're at the holidays, and I feel like the holidays is a season for indulgency or just being
Mhm.
indulgent in so many ways, especially with food and with libations.
Mhm.
Can we talk about some of the after dinner wines? I know your ports and other things like that.
Oh my
You
God,
know,
how fancy do you feel when you have a port after
I
dinner?
know. I'm
Oh
like,
my
oh,
goodness,
port.
the little glass and
I know. It's a little.
so dainty and wonderful. I'll plug myself again. A few months back, I did an entire episode of my podcast on dessert wine. So
Oh,
if it's
great.
something that you're
Okay.
interested in learning in depth, go check out
I
Pour and
will.
Explore, all about dessert wine. But yes, dessert wines are amazing for the holidays. I would actually, in a lot of cases, bring dessert wine instead of table wine.
Yeah, make.
I think it's a great gift. Dessert wines tend to come in smaller bottles
Yes.
too, which is nice. So you can bring one or two, maybe a red and a white, and so on. But there are so many variations of dessert wine from around the world that you're never going to run out of options. I'll tell you some of my favorites,
Yes,
and
please.
then my absolute favorite, my go-to dessert wine is from Portugal, and it's not port. It's a dessert wine called Madeira.
Yes, I've had it.
And yeah, you've had Madeira. So it's made from white grapes and it's aged for an extended period of time. And the process that it goes through is actually called the Madeirization process, and it was named after the island of Madeira because they actually cook the wine after it's produced, and it creates this velvety, nutty, almost, and not smoky, but like broiled, I guess,
Sure.
wine.
Yeah, like that depth.
It's
Yeah.
yes, exactly right. It's so flavorful and it's so wonderful. Port wine is amazing. Ruby port, tawny port,
Okay.
always great options. Either one of those. Sherry from Spain is a great one. Absolutely. And because I was just in Bordeaux in France, there's a white wine from the Bordeaux region. And of course, I'm having a complete brain fart right now. I can't remember the name of
Yeah.
it. Oh my goodness, that's embarrassing.
That's okay.
I had the name was there and it just totally
It'll
went away.
come.
Yeah, it's made from Sauvignon Blanc and Semillon grapes. And here, so I've got a bottle of it right here.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
There we go.
Beautiful.
There we go.
Okay.
Sauterne is the name of it. So Sauterne, yes. It was right there, and I totally lost it.
Yeah.
So I was just at this winery in May, and Mirat. not Chateau Myrat, as we would say in
America.
the States.
Boca Raton, my rat.
You gotta go to my rat and get some of that two-turn wine.
Chateau Myrat. Let's see. They've been producing Sauternes since 1855.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So, and this particular wine, the style of wine actually goes through a process where the berries become molded, and they actually press the berries with the mold on the berries, and it produces this amazing flavor profile.
I bet.
It's not harmful for you.
Yeah.
It's obviously
Good
they've been doing it
cheese,
for hundreds of years, so it's not an issue. But it's amazing. If you have an opportunity to try Sauterne, I would highly, highly recommend it. And there's 500 other great dessert wines out there.
Is masala a dessert wine? I know I cook with it when I make chicken masala, chicken marsala.
Sure, Marsala wine. Yes and no.
Okay.
It is sweet,
It's sweet.
but it is considered a table wine,
Okay.
and it's not a wine that people drink
Now we cook
on the regular.
Right. Cook.
It's definitely a cooking wine.
Did
My
people drink it at one point?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Interesting.
And then it tends to be on the sweeter side. It tends to be on the bitter side. So it's fallen out of favor as a table wine, as a sweet table wine, and has gone more into the cooking aspect.
And speaking of sweet table wines, last question is, how do you feel about Moscato? I feel like I'm not a big wine person, but I'm like tired of them. Like Moscato, can we move away? I mean, am I wrong for being like, why are we? Well, don't bring me Moscato if you're going to come to my house.
So, Matt, my number one motto in my business, and it informs everything that I do in my business, is you drink what you like.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
That's my motto.
Okay.
So if you're a person that loves Moscato and that floats your boat and you enjoy it, and you enjoy it with steak, you enjoy it with chicken, you enjoy it with chocolate cake, it doesn't matter to me. I make no bones about it. If you like it, then it's perfect. I would say for the Moscato drinkers out there that there are tons of other options in that style, the sweeter style, that you probably haven't tried because you didn't know. And I'll throw one at you because it's a given. And then if your guests want to know more, they can come call me or email me and learn more. But Riesling is a wine. It's got a nice backbone to it, just like Moscato does, meaning it's not super light, and it's kind of medium bodied in most cases. And Riesling can come very, very sweet. It actually has a range of sweetness from very dry to very sweet. So that is one of those wines that if you like Riesling, if you like Moscato, you're going to like Riesling.
Okay.
If you like Moscato, you're going to like a wine called Gewürztraminer, which is another German grape that comes in a range of sweetness. And hopefully that answered your question.
Well, thanks, Nick. I have to be more inclusive and tolerant of the Moscato drinkers. Thanks for inviting me. I need to calm down a bit.
You can have your chocolate wine. They can have their Moscato.
There you go.
I didn't want the chocolate wine.
I know. So we're in the holiday season, and I'm a big believer in experiences. And I want to touch on this because you offer some really cool experiences, both in person and virtually. And I think another like nice alternative to doing like the traditional dinner party or something like that is a wine tasting. I know we've talked about this last time we talked, but can you talk about your virtual wine tastings? And then also, if you really like your friend, like I really love Matt, he's a great friend, talk about like maybe some of the tours that are coming up. So we can try Moscato in person.
Most definitely. Yeah, my main job, the thing that I do the most and I love doing is education. And I love getting in front of a room of people, whether that be virtually or in person, and talk about wine, answer questions about wine, and most importantly, drink wine. while we're having a good time. And we can do that online in a Zoom room and things like that. So I've been doing it for years, and it's basically you reach out to me, you talk to me about the group that you're putting together. Is it a formal thing? Is it an informal thing? Is it all wine lovers? Is it all wine novices? You let me know. I'll put together a wine list for you. You guys purchase the wine, it gets delivered to your house, and we sit down, and I don't have a wine glass because it's only 4:30 in the afternoon. But and we talk about wine, we drink wine, we laugh over wine and things like that. That's really a lot of fun. I love doing that, and I do that with people all over the country and all over the world for that matter.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love doing it in person as well. I'll plug them real quick. My new favorite wine club, if you it's not even really a club because you can buy whatever you want whenever you want, is a company called Misfits Market. And Misfits Market has a brand new wine selection, and it changes like every month. You have some of the same stuff and then some new stuff that comes in, and I'm going to give you my discount code to go in there, and you can buy wine from Misfits Market. I'll have the same wine on my end, and we'll just cheers and toast. And hey, Matt, how about this Riesling that you're drinking? What do you think about it? What are some of
Yeah.
the qualities and characteristics of the Riesling that you love? What's some that you hate? Maybe you hate it. Hey, Nick, I don't like this one. All right, well, I'll know for next time.
Yeah.
I love that.
That kind of thing. So I take, if your listeners haven't noticed, I take a very relaxed attitude towards wine.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Wine is something that should be enjoyed. There should be zero pomp and circumstance about it. Is you drink what you like, and if you don't like it, you hand it back to the host.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
No, but yeah, that's my attitude towards wine. Is it's something to be enjoyed, and it's something that doesn't need all of the hoity-toity that goes around it. I very, very firmly believe that.
Yeah.
And then as far as the trips that I'm doing, I'm actually leaving in a week. I go to Europe for a few weeks, and I'm going to be on a boat, and we're going to be doing land tours and
Love that.
lectures and wine. It's absolutely going to be amazing. Next year I've got New Zealand. We're going to tour the North Island of New Zealand. And then immediately following New Zealand, I will be flying to Australia, and we will be touring South Australia and the island of Tasmania,
Cool.
where
Oh, that's
amazing
awesome.
wines are being produced as well. So
Wow.
these are trips, small group trips, usually between 8 to 10 guests. So a very, very personalized experience. And you come with the wine guy, and we have amazing food. We stay in awesome hotels, and of course amazing wines. Immerse ourselves in the culture of the
Sure.
area. Those are really, really a lot of fun. So if you want to find out more about those, you can just head over to my website. I'm sure Megan will be nice enough to put it in
Yeah.
the show notes, but it's thewineguy.vin, VIN.
How perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what is so great about you, Nick, if I can just like love on you a little bit, is that you are totally approachable with this depth of knowledge, right? And oftentimes I think wine especially can be so intimidating. Like even
Yeah,
if
for
you're a wine
sure.
person, like
Yeah.
and I love that your North Star to start with is like you like what you like, and I'm here to enhance your experience, which is just so lovely. I don't know, Matt. I think we should go to New
Yeah.
Zealand.
Oh, I agree. I want to follow I want to follow the Nick trail here.
I know.
Tasmania, New Zealand.
Yeah.
So many great places. I'm here for finding all the oaky reds. That's one of my favorites.
Mm.
I love an oaky red.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's quite a few of those in Australia. They love their Shiraz in Australia, which is raw, essentially.
Yeah.
Shiraz is the same thing.
The raw
But
Shiraz.
exactly. And they love their big oaky Shirazes down in Australia. And Cabernet Sauvignon is really
Yeah.
making a big mark in Australia as well.
Interesting. Okay.
Interesting.
Good to
Very
know.
cool. Well, thank you
Cabernet
for
and-
spending so much time with us. I feel like people are going to walk away with a better idea of what to buy, how
Agreed.
to host. Like, if they really want to open a bottle of wine, what to say. I can say this is a great bottle. The wine itself, I mean, doesn't this look like I just came from like the
Oh,
It's
Agora in
amazing.
Greece? Like, doesn't it look so?
Yeah.
I can't wait to put some flowers in it. The wine itself
Yes.
was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine.
Which I can say, I can look at that bottle and say that the wine is going to be fine.
Yeah, totally. But now I'm more confident knowing don't just buy for the bottle, Megan. Have some thought behind it. So
Yes,
this has been so much
absolutely.
fun. I really, really encourage listeners to check out Nick's website, which I'll put in the show notes for his experiences, whether it's virtual or in person. And I just appreciate all your expertise and sharing it today. And happy birthday to your mom.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Definitely. We're gonna go have a nice dinner. I'm gonna go make some porchetta and ravioli tonight.
Oh,
Is what we're doing.
wow.
Yum,
That
yum,
sounds
yum,
yummy.
yum. Well, I
Okay.
set the table for you behind me, so it's all ready.
Oh yes, it
Ready
looks
for you.
amazing. Yes,
Yeah.
you're in a little courtyard in Tuscany. I'm loving
I
it.
know.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Safe travels to you.
Safe travels, all
and,
your journeys. Yes.
and thank you again. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate being on. Great to see you both, and talk soon. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Wait, What Do You Do Again? For more information about today's guest, or if you'd like to be on the show, please visit megdeford.com. See you next time.